Tina.
I'm Marianne. And today we will talk about the Splace Magazine, and we will talk about reading. And we will talk about designing experimental interfaces for reading and visual storytelling.
So I'm a designer, and I'm a professor at the Visual Communications Department at the University of Art and Design in Linz.
And I'm an expert on user experience, and now also working at the design department in Linz.
So just quickly to sum it up so you understand better about the values of the Kunst in Linz, it concentrates on three main orientations. That is intermediality, it's a space strategies, and artistic scientific research. We are a strong player in the City of Media Arts in Linz, and we are also very well connected, of course, to the famous Ars Electronica Center in Linz.
So with our department, with its background in visual communication, we studied around 2012 with our students on the changes of reading to new devices, so namely the iPad. And what do we wanted to find out? So we wanted to find out how do people read nowadays, and how do interfaces or how does technology changes our behavior on reading, and what are the new opportunities or possibilities that we can have with the new devices.
And because us being the Visual Communications Department, and we wanted to do not something, well, just for a portfolio, we wanted to do something real. So we proposed the idea of creating a magazine for the university to our principal, and said, yes, of course, go ahead. So that's how it all started. But before that, we'll give you some backgrounds. So as you can read here, we can write stories in chapters, lines, and words, and that is basically literature in its real sense. But we can also write stories with series of graphics, with series of scenes drawn with graphics. This is literature with images. And what I find very astonishing is that this quote is from 1844, from Rudolf Töpfer, out of his book, The Essay zur Physiognomie. And what we find here is a description of stories that are stored within media that are not only based on words, but based on images, and especially narrative series of images. So if we look at the history of illustration, we can see a long-lasting and a strong connection of image and text. The first thing that we will look at is, for instance, medieval Christian books, which were created by the German word is Buchmaler, and the English word is illuminators. And I find this translation of the word illuminator extremely interesting, as we all know that reading now on screens we are also illuminated by the knowledge. But okay, let's go back to these books. They show a tradition of combining text with sweeping illustrations. Here we see a spatial juxtaposition of heaven at the top and hell at the bottom of the page. Here, the function of the illustration is basically to seduce people into reading text.
But illustrations can also increase the value of the book. So with the advent of Gutenberg's printing technique of movable type, illustration and text become separate parts of the content. So Band 1 der Grimmschen Kinder- und Hausmärchen was published in 1812 in Germany, but the English version, who was published 1823, was much more bought because it was full of drawings by Mr. Cruikshank. Whereas the German version didn't contain any illustration. So the English books sold in great numbers, and resulting in a revised German version with illustration by Ludwig Richter in 1945. So all subsequent releases from Grimm's Märchen were published with accompanying list.
So you see, with this we can see that of course text is great and you have stories within, but as soon as you add to the stories an illustration, something that you can look at, immediately the value of this book is increased because people want to buy stories that also are accompanied by something visual. But the examples before that show us illustrations that, or they show us images, no, they show us books or text stories that can be read, and basically they don't need the illustration. But this one, this example here is an autonomous illustrative image, and what it means is here, the illustration per se is already telling the story. We don't need a text. This is from Valia Honecker-Labater. She was a Swiss artist and illustrator. She was working in the genre of artist books and created accordion fold books that retell classic fairy tales. Here in this case, we see the legend of Swiss Wilhelm Tell. He was a strong man and an expert shot with the crossbow. Everybody of you here probably knows the story of him shooting an apple off of his son's head. So Valia, she was asking herself, like, how can we realize complex contents and insights with figurative means? Fascinated by the power of signs and symbols that we find on highways, especially their clearness, their effectiveness of communicating, and also like the beauty of the simplicity, she was asking herself if it was possible to transfer literature, the stories of literature, with such a language. And this is an example of a very powerful form of visual storytelling, telling stories only with images. So the story unfolds in an abstract world of symbols. But of course, this is not perfectly readable. It's not comparable in the sense of you read a text and you know exactly the story. But the power of such a visual storytelling is that you receive the story and the contents on a different level, on a kind of a subliminal level.
So, but what makes an illustration a good one? So, it is important that illustrations show commands to the contents of the text, helping the reader to gain a better understanding. But we can expand this concept of to a more dynamic form, one that includes audio, moving images, tactile features, interactivity. So together they form a stronger experience of the content. And such effective interpretation should extend the factual contents, mark specific key aspects, and therefore they help the user to gain a better comprehension.
Basically what it does, what we're talking about is, if we think of the illustration being a part that goes beyond the factual contents of the text, we can also adapt this idea of the illustration to something that is not just simply one stiff image, but something that goes far beyond that goes into an experience of all the things. And giving an additional offer to interpret complex contents, that is basically one key aspect of what we are trying to do with Splace Magazine. But what is also important is visuals help us to remember content so much better. And you probably are all aware of this effect called picture superiority effect, which comes from neurology. It means that the concepts we receive with visual means are remembered much, much stronger. So if we are able to connect an understanding of the textual content together with an image, that concept is stored in our memory as a strong and intensive memory. The image works similar like, I find it works similar like the album cover of a music. So I remember always music by the impression I have in my head as a memory from the album cover. That is exactly how I remember. Oh, you remember that music? Yeah, that color, that music.
Yesterday I told somebody about a book and I thought, oh, it's the right one, the serif typeface.
So we store our memories always in our heads, often with images, and this connection it goes much better and much deeper. But it is even better and even stronger if we connect our memory with an emotional effect or an emotional impact.
So we want people to have such a great experience that they feel the need to talk about it to everyone. This quote from Aaron Walter shows that it is important to create long-lasting impressions. But how can we do this? This can only happen if we create joyful feelings within people's hearts.
Yes, and this other quote from Michael Leilhack that says, switching from stories designed for a passive viewer to experiences offered to an active participant is the deep trend, is exactly what we are trying to do when we are creating a new issue, a new edition of the Splace Magazine. So the question for us is, how do we get from a graphical user interface, the GUI, to a so-called natural user interface, the NUI? So natural user interfaces provide the user a direct interaction with the contents through, of course, swiping, tapping, touching, gestures, through tactile sensations like vibrations, and through sound and voice control. So let's have a look at Splace Magazine. Here we have, we proudly present you with the world premiere of our new trailer. Splace Magazine is the official magazine of the University of Art and Design in Linz, Austria. It is developed by its students and the staff in cooperation with Johannes Kepler University Linz. Its content and its features are designed for mobile devices, especially for tablets. It's built upon today's web technologies. Of the magazine offers in-depth information on current positions and topics of art, culture, and media landscapes in a classic reading mode. The landscape version provides experimental translations of the text content into different media. Wants to inspire the young artists studying here at the University of Art and Design in Linz. It also wants to invite young people to pursue a study, and of course it wants to give information to any person who is interested in media, art, design, architecture, culture, you name it. There's a vast field of aspects that can be provided by our university. Working together with us, the credits list is a really long one. But as you have seen already, what we try to do is to explore how the conventional concept of reading and storytelling can be expanded, especially in a very playful and lively way. We come out annually, and the magazine is monothematic. That means interviews, essays, and guest articles analyze one specific topic in each issue. Splace 1 was about space. Splace 2 is dedicated to color.
And we have two intended audiences. So we want to reach people who are generally interested in arts and culture and media, and who likes reading text, because we are really fans of long text and reading. And the second target group are millennials who we want to study at our university, or who are already students from us.
Do you all know what the millennials are? Who does not know?
No one knows what they are.
No one. Well, yeah, maybe. It's the young ones, and basically they all have like, it said that like 85% of them have smartphones, and Wi-Fi is their oxygen, basically. Yeah. So applying for these two audiences, that is why we came up with the idea that, of course, the specialty of these mobile devices is you have two different ways of holding them. So you have a portrait and a horizontal version and a vertical version. And using this for the two different ways of applying contents for two different target groups, we created this magazine. So showing you, we would like to show you now the two versions really live. For this case, we have to switch the.
Switch it. Yes, here we are. So, for example, here we have the navigation, and we look at series in black. You can see the cover, and you can really, the focus is on reading. You can really see to read and to get into this text. And the right column provides in-depth information or additional information to this article. But when you turn it, what you can see is you can go through this journey our students did in Helsinki together with Karin Bruns and Gerhard Umhalder, and you can see a lot of works they did during this journey.
But as you can see already, what we're taking here into account is the gyroscopic sensor that is being provided by the mobile devices. And by using this technology, we can give the reader a completely new way of navigating through space. What I find so special about this form is that this device becomes something like a real window. And you have to move. Suddenly, it's not only you sitting still on a couch, but you become an active participant in using the contents. You use your body, and the physical movement in space creates a completely different way of interacting with the content. And in this way, it's something like a transportation. It will transport you back to Helsinki and to the journey of our students.
So the next one we want to show you is about fashion and technology. And the article is an interview from Ute Pleuer. And for Ute Pleuer, it's important that the three aspects, the cut, the material, the form, is something really important for her work. And you can see the changes of the fabric by tilting. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. You can shake it in order to get new forms. You can cut some pieces out of it. And of course, you also get some text fragments to understand what this article can be about.
So what we're always trying to do is, the magazine always provides some 12 to 13 articles. And of course, you have the classic reading mode where you can go from one article to the next one and read down below. And then every page is trying to, as we just been explaining, like illustration used to be, we're trying to take out one key aspect or one special feature, or the core idea of what has been talking about with the written word, and transport this or transform this into a different media, so that you can have an experience of what it's all about in the text. Mm-hmm. Here in this case, the text talks about how how the color film has been invented, celluloid color film has been invented, and how there was basically there were 4 different technical formats going on. For instance, UFA film had a different color grading, Technicolor was a different format, and there was also black and white film. And in this case, you can try and experience like what are the differences in each respective technique.
And there's something announced, especially in Splace Magazine. We have something like
the centerfold.
A centerfold,
of course. Usually, the centerfold was the poster that you could get out of the magazine and put it on your wall in order to watch it. We also provide a centerfold, but in our case, it's a special artwork being done especially for the magazine by our alumnus. What you see here is the work Brain Bows, a video that Karin Fisseldaler made especially for Splace. And since the monothematic issue of this of Splace number 2 was color, it's all about coloring in this case. Yeah. And I think we have to finish already. I lost the time now. Maybe we go again to the conclusion and the next steps. And you can, of course, experience all this and try it out for yourselves if you have some kind of mobile device, and we would suggest that you really use some kind of a tablet.
And it's best tested with iPads.
The reason is if you can also find the information if you go there with a desktop computer, but the desktop version would only show you the texts that are there to read, and of course not the illustrative or the other media format, because how would you be able to, I don't know, to tilt your monitor or exactly. So it's not possible really to put it on a desktop computer. So what is very important for us is that this whole magazine is a big playground, because we are aware that some things are working and some things are not working, but we don't mind that this is the case, because actually we think it's important that we have these kind of hands-on projects and experiments where everything is possible and nothing is forbidden. It's important to create, to publish, and also to share with you, for instance, and the whole world, so that everybody has the possibility to reflect on the experiences and the things that we made here.
And the other aspect is collaborative and transdisciplinary effort. We have a really big team, so we have our students, we work with our students, and we work with the students from the Kepler University.
So we work with the whole university. It's not just our students, it's the whole university. That's some 800 students, for instance.
So the teachers from the universities provide us articles, which we try to transform into a different multisensory way. And it really helps us to create a wider range of applications. So we have 12 different applications for each issue. And I think we learn a lot from our students, so how they see the digital storytelling in the future. And I also think that we all together bring out examples that reach beyond the present stage of digital magazines.
So what we're really interested in is bringing the contents that we find in text, the textual contents, into a different format, into a format that takes up much more, that takes up all senses, that is addressing our eyes, that is addressing our ears, that is even addressing our tactile and physical feelings of the world, like having to go somewhere in order to find something, or feeling the sound vibrate while for instance, the cutting experience of Ute Pleuer's text when you hear the sound, then you also feel the vibrations on it. So this really does something with us. It's a much more going again back to the body and not just looking at something. So we hope that in the future, when even more sensors are coming out, like pulse sensors or temperature or other possibilities, that it's important to try and incorporate also these possibilities and find out what kinds of reading experiences can we provide for the people. We need, nevertheless, all these experiments in order to learn for ourselves. But we think that the most important reason why we are doing this is...
Just what is it that you want to do? Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time. That's what we're going to do.
Well, wait a minute,
We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun.